Hey guys, Craig Dye here, and today I want to talk rod and reel setups. I'm not a big fan of having 8, 9, 10, 12 rods on my kayak. I like to keep it simple, 4, 5, maybe 6 rods at the most. So today I'm going to run through my 4 or 5 rods and how I get multiple techniques out of each of those rods. Alright guys, setup number 1 is a St Croix Legend Glass crankbait rod. It's 6'10". I got 10-pound mono on here, and it's a reel has a 6:8 to 1 gear ratio. It's a perfect ratio. It's not too slow. It's not too fast. You can fish a lot of stuff on this rod. Now, yes, it is a incredible crankbait rod, but other than that, I like to throw my crankbaits 10-footer shallower with this rod. Also, I like to throw finesse swim baits. Work great. Poppers of any style work great. That 10-pound line, that 10-pound mono floats, so it's perfect for top water. And then any type of walk the dog, any type of spook, sexy dog, man, it works killer with this setup. That 6'10" rod really allows you to work that bait back and forth real well. And 10-pound line is actually stronger than most people think. I've caught a lot of big fish on 10-pound line. So yeah, that's setup number 1. That's 4 techniques with 1 rod. Alright guys, my second setup is the St Croix Avid X. This is a 7-foot medium rod. And what I love about a medium, it's still got a good backbone, but it's got that nice soft tip. So when those hard fighting fish come next to your boat, they stay pinned. And also when you're throwing, treble hook baits, it always is nice to have a nice soft tip on a rod. So for this one, I was just on Center Hill Lake, so I pretty much used it for a shaky head. It's a perfect shaky head rod. You can get a good hook set. You can really fight the fish well. But that's just one of the techniques for this one. You can actually run 5, 6 techniques off this one rod right here. And what makes it so versatile is I use braid with a leader. And you can use a 6-pound leader, whatever, up to 20-pound leader if you want to. I use a 20-pound leader when I go, fish for redfish. But so I got the shaky head, a finesse jig works real well. This is a Bad Boys finesse jig. Jerk baits. You can put a real long, say 10, 15-foot leader on there, fluorocarbon leader, 8 or 10 pound. You can really get that jerk bait down where it needs to be. And having that braid, you can really get that erratic action that you love, to get that jerk bait bite. Also, I like to throw finesse crankbaits. This is the Strike King 1.0. And with the bait caster, you can throw it, but man, on a spinning rod, you can chunk this thing a mile, and the longer you cast, the deeper you're going to get that crankbait. So that's perfect. And this is perfect for saltwater too. So what I do is usually I'll go straight braid, straight 15-pound or 20-pound braid, no leader. When I'm fishing for redfish down in Louisiana, you can see I just throw this little spoon right here, and if you look at it, they've been eating it pretty good. So there you go. That's 5 techniques, 1 rod. Let's keep on going. Rod number 3 is the St Croix Bass X 7-foot medium heavy, and this one can do pretty much everything. Now I like to use 17-pound mono. I know people think I'm crazy for using mono, but it still catches fish, and I actually do like that stretch. So right now I got a 1/2-ounce jig on here. It's a perfect jig rod. If I'm fishing really thick grass or really thick wood, I'll put braid on, but for right now, this mono is getting it done. A lot of techniques with this rod. Having that mono, since it floats, it's a perfect topwater setup. You can throw big poppers like this Rapala one here. Whopper plopper, it's awesome because you do have that stretch from the mono. With these treble hooks, they like to pop out sometimes. Buzz baits, perfect for buzz baits. You can cast a mile with mono, it works awesome. Chatterbait. Now a lot of guys like to throw a softer rod for chatterbait. This is a medium heavy, but with that mono I get a little more stretch, and I feel like I lose less fish. As long as you get a good hook set, you're good to go with the chatterbait. And don't forget about the spinnerbait. It still works. I know the chatterbait's taken over, but I love throwing a spinnerbait, especially around grass, and the 17 mono works. So that's what? That's 5, 6. That's 6 techniques with 1 setup. We got 1 more. The last rod I want to talk about is the St Croix Mojo Bass 7'4". This is a heavy rod. Now it's perfect for throwing frogs. You can cast it a mile. You can walk that frog just how you like, and obviously you can get the fish out of the thickest stuff you can find. But I like to use this rod for about probably four different techniques when I'm out there. Obviously hollow body, perfect. A ribbit style frog. A lot of guys, if you haven't thrown this, these fish sometimes when they don't want to hit a slow moving hollow body, they will react on this fast moving ribbit. So cast it as far as you can, reel it fast, and get ready. Also punching. I do a good bit of that on Guntersville. I'm starting to do more on Chickamauga. But you know, these 1-ounce weights, you got to have a good stout rod. You got to have braided line. So I got 50-pound braid on here. I can pretty much get out the thickest stuff that you can find. And also, if you're fishing deep, if you're fishing on a hump or a ledge, you're down there 20, 25, up to 30, 40 foot deep, and you're fishing a big worm down there, like this Strike King worm, you got to have a good stout rod to get a good hook set and get those fish to the kayak. I like using braid, and I'll put, say, like a 17-pound leader on there, and you won't have any problems. Fish won't see it down there anyway. But yeah, that's rod number 4. That's another 4 techniques. Let's go fishing, please.